The following program is being brought to you on the Voice America Women's Channel. For more information about our network and to check out additional show hosts and topics of interest, please visit voiceamericawomen.com. The Voice America Talk Radio Network is the worldwide leader in live Internet talk radio. Visit voiceamerica.com. The views and ideas expressed on the following program are strictly those of the host or guests and do not necessarily reflect the views and ideas held by the Voice America Talk Radio Network, its staff, and management.
Welcome to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with Rebecca Hall Gruyter. In our program each week, we provide the tools, ideas, and encouragement to help you move ahead on your journey, becoming a more powerful and impactful woman in your own life. Now here's your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter.
Welcome to the show, everyone. I hope that you are finding yourself well, that you are looking forward to all that the fall brings as we are transitioning from the summer into the winter months and from that summer energy, and we start moving into the holidays. And I know many of you, the weather looks very different in different parts of the world as we're making that transition. But I do find there is this energy of fall that as we're transitioning, we can struggle a little bit with our balance. And so today we're really going to focus on how can we start to fall into balance. And as we're exploring this today, I wanted to just share something that's been on my heart around this. Recently, there's been a lot of loss and challenges that people have been sharing with me, or I have even directly been affected with in this month. And I wanted to reach out particularly to those of you today that are feeling a little bit of tenderness in that area as we're going through this seasonal change that we're experiencing. I also wanted to have us address and talk about those of you who are in that place of loss or health challenges or things that maybe we don't always want to talk about, but we're perhaps struggling a little bit in our balance as we're transitioning in the seasons, and really wanted to make ourselves available to support and encourage you on the journey. My guests today have a real heart to serve and support you from everywhere from living a life unleashed through challenges that you may have to relationships and how do we find that person, because that can be a challenge that we're having and boundaries can be affected in all of those areas. So today I am very excited about this deep conversation that we're going to have to really support you not only with this transition that we get to experience and lean into in the fall, but also really talking about some of those things, because as you're stepping into the holiday season, those things can become especially challenging and even almost more of a focus on them. And so today, my desire is to really give you support, tips, and ideas of how to weather some of those changes and shifts and challenges that you may have, so that you really can step into the balance that you are seeking in your life. But before we get too deep into the conversation, I wanted to give us an opportunity to pause, to take a deep breath as we get so busy in life, running this way and that way, adding more things to our list, crossing them off, and pretty soon it can feel like it's running you. So today, for this moment in time, this is your time. And I celebrate that you're saying yes to you, that you're leaning in, you're allowing us to connect with you and support you in this way and to be a part of your life and you a part of ours. So let's really honor this moment in time. Let's go ahead and take a moment to center yourself. Those of you who are driving, please stay safe, hands on the wheel, no texting and driving. But those of you who are able to, go ahead and put both feet on the floor. Feel that chair supporting you. Put one hand on your heart, one hand on your head, and go ahead and close your eyes. You are perfectly safe. We are right here with you. Take a deep breath. And what is it that you need today to support you on your journey, to support you in your balance, in the transitions that you may be going through or looking to step into? What is it that you need? Breathe into that and see what response you get, what is laid upon your heart that you need. We're really good, and it's easy for us to help everyone else with their needs. But sometimes it's a little more challenging to recognize what we need and to be willing to lean into it. And I want to give you that opportunity today. So see what it is that you need today, what is laid upon your heart, and capture it. When you've got that image, that memory, that piece of information, that wisdom, whatever, however it comes to you. Sometimes it's a picture, sometimes it's a memory, sometimes it's a phrase. When you capture that information, go ahead and open up your eyes. And I encourage you to write it down so you can keep it top of mind. It is a lot easier to bring what you need into your life and be willing to be open to receiving it when we know what it is that we need and we're looking for. Otherwise, we're trying this and we're trying that and we're hoping that it works. But if we can take a moment and pause and listen and respond and choose to receive what it is that we need or lean into it, you'll find it's a smoother path. And it gets you where you want to go, where your heart is called, in a way that really honors, serves, and supports you. So let's take one more breath together. Wonderful. And Mary, I didn't know if you had something laid upon your heart that you wanted to share with us today.
Well, when you first opened with tenderness, I had to write that down because that is such a beautiful word, and it's a feeling that so many of us feel guilty about, that we're vulnerable if we're tender. But it's important for us to remember that when we share what is touching our heart, that makes a stronger connection with who we are here to serve, to help them identify us as the person that understands them.
Thank you.
So thank you for starting us out with tenderness.
Absolutely. No, thank you. I love that word. And I think it does speak to that feeling that we can feel a little tender, a little vulnerable, but that softness allows us to connect in a really powerful way. So thank you. Thank you for sharing, Mary. Beautiful. And then Antia, I wondered if you had something laid upon your heart to share.
I just really felt like a true, authentic connection. Like to really take a moment, and yet it sounds so simple, and when we do it, we realize that we don't do it often enough. Like really be present with ourselves.
Yes.
So that's just really what came through intuitively for me when you were sharing that.
Thank you. I'm just marking that down, the tenderness, that connection, present with ourselves. That can be really difficult to be present with ourselves in the moment. Beautiful. Thank you. And then Brody, I wondered if you had something laid upon your heart.
Yeah, as far as the going into fall, I feel part of that tenderness is also the place where we can find the harvest, the gifts that are within us. And oftentimes that vulnerability really can reveal us to the gifts that are inside that we maybe haven't been looking at for a while, and uncover those.
Beautiful. I love that vision, that picture I'm getting as you share harvest and that soft, fertile ground that really is there. So thank you. Beautiful share. And I find that is so true, that when we're in a space of transition and we're in this space of, sometimes it's loss, sometimes it can be health things, sometimes we're confronted with something that just kind of can stop us in our tracks as we're transitioning. And it can force us to be more present sometimes than we're comfortable with. And it also has great gifts, I find, even in the loss or the transition or the challenge. There can be amazing gifts if we're willing to slow down enough for them. It's interesting. I shared on my last show, those of you who listened to it, about one of the losses I had recently experienced and how it was such a rich experience that it was amazing to me to have such profound loss and grief right alongside such amazing gifts and connection, and really experiencing being held so profoundly and powerfully by others. And it was a really strong reminder to me, that it is not a solo journey. We are not designed to push along on our own, that we really do need to be connected and support one another and encourage one another and let people hold us. Let them see our vulnerability. Let them see our tenderness. And it creates a profound connection. And there's a lot of gifts and beauty in it. And even when we're looking at the transitions, they don't always need to be these difficult things. They can be amazing things that can still create a vulnerability as we're stepping forward into change and transition. And it can be a little bit unsettling sometimes. And so I just want to meet all of you today in this space that we're going to be very real with you, really sharing from our hearts how we can support and encourage you, the wisdom we have learned in those transitions as we've gone from one season to another, as we have gone through loss and new things coming forward. And I know that this program's going to serve you today. It's not an accident that you dialed in, that you are listening. So again, let's take a deep breath together. I lift all of you up, that your ears are ready to hear, your eyes are open to see the vision, and that your hearts are ready to receive fully what is here for you today. We are moving into our first commercial break, and as we do that, I encourage you to sit in this energy, in this space, and really seek what is it that you need, what is it that you are looking for support, encouragement with. And when we come back, we will look forward to connecting with you in that way and supporting you and encouraging you and empowering you on your journey. We'll look forward to talking to you in just a moment.
Your favorite Voice America Talk Radio Network shows and hosts are in your car, outdoors, and wherever you need them to be. Listen anywhere. Get our mobile app for iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android at the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for people like you. With just one 7-minute audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities. This is a dynamic way to share your message, reach more people, and expand your impact. Apply now at yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent. Finalists get to audition live in front of community leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Don't wait. Find out more. Visit yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent.
Become our friend on Facebook. Post your thoughts about our shows and network on our timeline. Visit facebook.com/Voice America.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-613-1612. That's 1-866-613-1612. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you took advantage of that break to really have a moment of listening and receiving what it is that you need and are really leaning into today. I want to keep that top of mind and very present for you. And our first guest is a good friend of mine. Her name is Mary Knippel. She is a transformational author, inspirational speaker, 2 times cancer survivor. She has a background of 35 years experience as a journalist. So an expert in really helping people bring their story to life and really see who they are and why their story matters. And she specifically helps her clients live a life fully unleashed. Mary, it is my honor and privilege to welcome you to the show. Welcome.
Well, thank you, Rebecca. I'm so happy to be here. I'm just thrilled with this topic that balance and boundaries are so critical, and using your creativity to embrace that is so important.
Exactly. Great. Well, and I wanted to even start the conversation because I know creativity has been so important on your journey as you have been stepped into living a life unleashed and supporting people in that way. But I'd love to back up for a moment and just really explore why this work of supporting people in that way with their stories and stepping into life unleashed. Why is that work personally so important to you and meaningful to you?
Well, I understand the women in transition because I am one. I've been the stay-at-home mom. I've been the go-to person for work and for the school programs. I have been the person who got the form letter saying you have an abnormal mammogram. And that dove me into my first breast cancer diagnosis, where I took the time to, I had the surgery and I went right back into my life. But the second diagnosis was when I was stopped short 3.5 years after the first one. And it was like, okay, this is your wake-up call. You have to do what you put on this earth to do. And that was help other women share their message, to speak up. Because there's so many who feel that their story doesn't matter. And your story is something that only you can tell, because you know it intimately from the inside out.
Yes.
And so that's what I specialize in.
Thank you. And Mary, I so appreciate you sharing your heart with us. I could hear it as you were sharing your message and your passion for helping women fully and men fully step into their message and understanding how much their story matters. And I could feel you as you were sharing that. So I want to thank you for sharing with us richly in that way. And I'm just sitting here and kind of pausing as I'm deciding the next question that I want to answer or ask. And I'm not answering, ask. Because there's so much I know that you can share about and you can talk about. And I think what's really being laid on my heart is, can you expand on why our stories matter? I know that you shared it's because no one else can share it. It's your unique story, but I know there's more in it than that, that there's a reason that it makes a difference out there when we do. Do you mind expanding and sharing that with us?
Oh, absolutely, because this is what I encourage everyone to understand and to really embrace, that your personal story has a universal impact. There's someone out there that needs to hear your story to connect. And it's synchronicity that you started with tenderness, and I talked about vulnerability because I am so passionate about getting this message that nobody else can tell your story because it's from your perspective, but somebody else will recognize themselves in your story and have the courage to speak up for themselves.
Thank you. You know what I hear echoing in me as you're sharing, Mary, is that your story, in a sense, can be that wake-up call for somebody else, or give them that extra courage to share their story, because now it's possible. They can see themselves in what is being shared, and there's a ripple effect in that and a resonance with it. And I think this is so important to remember how connected we all truly are and need to be. And when something is called forth, a message within you, it's being called forth.
Mm-hmm.
It's being pulled from you to share because there's an absolute need for it. So listeners, I encourage you to remember that when you feel a prompting to share something, you're kind of like, I don't normally talk about that, or that feels a little weird. It's needed. That is an opportunity for you and for someone else to connect in a profound way that can make a pivotal difference in another person's life, because you absolutely matter. Your story matters and your life matters. It touches others and makes a profound difference. So Mary, thank you for your tenderness in this and your heart for sharing in this way.
Thank
and I
you,
know
Rebecca.
that, oh yes, very much heartfelt. Yes. And I was just thinking about how you had shared, I shared it in your introduction, and you touched on it a little bit as you were sharing your why about being a 2-time cancer survivor. I know, because I know you personally, you've had a lot of challenges and transitions in your life, and you have been able to regain balance through them. And I was wondering if you would share with us today, how can we bring that into our life? How can we start to regain balance when we have some of these life stressors hit us and we're kind of stopped in our tracks? How can we regain our balance?
Well, that's something that I had to learn as well. But by taking the time to recognize that when you make yourself a priority and nurture you, everyone in your life benefits. And tapping into your creativity can mean trying a new recipe. It can mean taking a different way to work. It isn't that you're going to be an artist and have something hanging in the Louvre, which is what stopped me from a long time to even acknowledge that I was a writer.
Mm-hmm.
So I encourage people to start journaling, to take 5 minutes a day to talk about what they would love to do if they had a chance, and put it out on paper so that there's a way for them to see it was enough of an impact on me to write it down. And I could see how it's going to become a reality in my life. Or is this just an idea that, a fly-by-night thing? But if you start writing things down, if you let yourself dream about what would I do if I had the chance, and tap into your creativity as another way to nurture you.
Beautiful.
Taking time to focus on you.
Thank you. I love this, because we can have all these ideas that can be flying around in our heart, in our mind, and we're not always grounding them and bringing them into reality. And to me, what you're sharing, Mary, is a way to start doing that. It's a way to capture them and see them. And that's one level, one way they are now becoming real. When we can see them, we now have it inside us, and now we have it in front of us. And then bringing the creativity in to explore that and bring in another way to bring forward what our dreams are, what we're calling. And this taps into another question that I know you gave me. I have my listeners give me some questions, and then they always give me the freedom to explore off of that as I feel led. And this question that you gave me really resonated with me with what you're sharing. And it's reclaiming your life, because to me, what you're saying is starting to, these are ways you can start to reclaim your life. So this is part of your balance and stepping into it. But there's this really powerful active energy when life has perhaps thrown you a curveball, that you can start to reclaim it. And I love that energy. Do you mind expanding on that a little bit, some of how you did that and would advise others?
Well, one of the things that I made up my mind after the second diagnosis was to say, what did I want to do? What am I here for? And why do I wait? I can't wait any longer. and encouraging other women to speak up for themselves, not to be silent about what they are here for. And so I started speaking, I started writing and helping others write their stories, rewrite their stories, because once you put it on paper, you have a chance to look at it from a totally different perspective. And claiming my speaking ability and also my writing ability, there's a saying that people would rather be in the coffin than do any speaking. My family asked me to not only write my brother's eulogy, but I delivered it. So I know that I can write something that will move people and that I can deliver it.
Beautiful. And I want to hear, listeners, I want you to hear how she is reclaiming, like that was another moment that she reclaimed and stepped in her life and her gifts and brought them forward. And I love how you shared that some people would prefer to be in the coffin than delivering the eulogy, that can be a very uncomfortable place, and yet your willingness to do that, especially with someone so close to you. And I think the more we are willing as society and as people to connect in a real way and be willing to share our less shiny moments and our tenderness, but we're willing to be let others see some of our discomfort and meet us in that, the more connected we become, the more we can impact one another and really bring the beauty forward and the valuable information and gifts forward that we all have in a way that serves on a profound level. So I want to encourage all of you to be willing to share some of your tenderness with others and to recognize this is your life. There's not a do-over. This matters, what you do, what you decide to say yes to, what you decide to say no to. It matters what you decide to share or not share. And my goodness, you are a gift to the world, and we want to know you and have you richly in our life. Breathe that in. Wonderful. And Mary, I know you've prepared an amazing gift. We have about 30 seconds. And I don't know if that gives you enough time, or when we come back, I can have you share about your gift too. I want to do it justice. What are your thoughts?
Well, I have been talking about journaling. I have talked about writing things down. So my gift is a simple journal. It's an invitation for you to set aside 5 minutes to sit down and use the writing prompts, use the inspirational thoughts that I have in there, or just use the cue that I have to always write down the time, the day, and describe your location, and then just do a download of what are you thinking about, what's bothering you, what did you dream about, and set the timer for 5 minutes and see what comes up in 5 minutes.
Beautiful. Thank you for making this gift available. And I'm going to call it not a simple journal, if you're okay with me changing that.
But I don't want people to think that it's something complicated and, I have to learn this new process. No.
Yep.
It's head, heart, and hand.
Beautiful. So I feel like it's a profound journal, an opportunity in 5 minutes a day to make a difference in your life. And I love that you're giving prompts and guidance, because sometimes we can stare at a blank page and not know what to do. So it feels living and interactive to me. And I want to thank you for your generous gift. Listeners, I encourage you to lean into that. And I will share at the end of the show, because we want you to stay on the entire show with us, I will share how you can access Mary's generous gift. And with that, we will look forward to talking to you in just a moment.
Your favorite Voice America Talk Radio Network shows and hosts are in your car, outdoors, and wherever you need them to be. Listen anywhere. Get our mobile app for iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android at the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for people like you. With just one 7-minute audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities. This is a dynamic way to share your message, reach more people, and expand your impact. Apply now at yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent. Finalists get to audition live in front of community leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Don't wait. Find out more. Visit yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent.
Become our friend on Facebook. Post your thoughts about our shows and network on our timeline. Visit facebook.com/Voice America.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-613-1612. That's 1-866-613-1612. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed that commercial break. And I'm going to encourage you on the commercial breaks, one, to process some of what we're sharing, but I also encourage you to lean into our sponsors. These are people and organizations that really believe in the work that we're doing around empowering lives. That's how we can make a transformation around the world. And so I do encourage you to not completely tune out during those times. I think it's important to know organizations and people that are really leaning into you and believe in this type of work. And just to give you a little bit of encouragement in this, we have some special announcements and shares that are going to be coming up about our TV channel that we're launching. And some of that will be during those commercial breaks where we can learn a little bit more about the programming that we're launching starting in October and more coming forward in November, December, and January. So we're super excited about launching this channel and wanted to have those commercials created so that you get a little bit of a flavor of some other fabulous programs and events and specialists that are really wanting to touch your life and empower you on your journey. So I just wanted to take a moment and share from my heart to yours about that. That's another way you can connect, get support, and get encouragement and be equipped on your journey in life on a weekly basis. So I want you to know about resources and tools and that there are programs out there to support you on your journey like this one. So I encourage you to lean into that. And with our next focus here, I wanted to introduce two amazing guests. Now, this is a husband and wife who I have known. Antia, I've known you for quite a while. Brody, I know it's a more recent connection that we've had. And they share a passion for helping people find that have happily ever after, that significant other, that man or woman that is just right for them. And they do it in a way that is loving and grounded, and they're not wasting time and heartache going down the wrong path. And so I really wanted to bring them aboard today to talk about two things. One, to how can we move in that direction to bring that person into our life, or to be the person we need to be to bring them in, whatever that journey may be. And then to also talk about boundaries, because I find that's something that comes up a lot with ourselves and in relationships with others. And they leaned in and said yes. So let me share a little bit about them. They specialize in helping men and women find the right man or woman. Both of them have over 8 years of experience supporting singles in doing this. Antia had started working with single women, and Brody, I know you specialized in working with the men, actually 11 years for you. So combined, we're looking at over 19 years of experience helping many people navigate those paths and find that right person for them. They are passionate about helping you find others without wasting heartache and time. It is my privilege and honor to officially welcome Antia and Brody Broderick to the show. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Glad
So excited to be here.
Glad to have you. Now, I wanted to ask that question, and I'd love to have each of you answer this so that our listeners get a little bit of a feel for both of you and your heart. So let me start with Antia. Why is this work so important to you of helping people in this way?
Well, for me, I grew up in a household of an emotionally manipulative dad, emotionally absent mom. Basically, like words like "I love you" were foreign language, and like hugs were as common as Christmas and Thanksgiving. I always say falling on the same day, and so as a consequence of that, I ended up really feeling like my confidence was like plummeting. I felt conscious anxiety around dating, and even like slight depression. And lots of sadness, right? So I attracted unavailable men for years. And it wasn't really until I realized that it's really about setting the boundaries without feeling guilty, being vulnerable without looking weak. I really went through all of this, that I learned to really come into balance, come into my equilibrium, that helped me to attract my man. And just, we have like the most amazing stories. And so that's it in a nutshell.
Beautiful. Oh, thank you. I appreciate you sharing, and I love the terminology that you're using about finding your own equilibrium in that, and your balance between boundaries and like vulnerability and transparency. I love that you discovered that equilibrium and balance for you. Really, really beautiful. Thank you. And Brody, do you mind sharing why this work? Because I know you guys didn't know each other when you started your respective work and ended up together. So I'd love to know a little bit about your journey and why this work is important to you.
Yeah, definitely. Well, my story is years ago. When I grew up, I had a very controlling mom. So part of me, I felt controlled. Part of me closed my heart off to women. And then when I got into college, I found my first serious relationship, and she ended up leaving me, and I entered the deepest depression of my life. And in that depth of my depression, I decided I was going to do whatever it took to figure out what it takes to find the right partner for you, to stop wasting time, for me also to be able to open up and trust more, and be able to love and find that partner to share my life with. And me and Antia, we actually, shortly after that, after doing a lot of coaching and working with coaches and training programs, we actually met each other in Hawaii. We met in Oahu, and I got my degree in communications also. But when we met in Oahu, we were both living there, and we met at a spiritual meetup group, in self-improvement spiritual meetup group, and it was just an instant connection. We connected on all levels. We'd both done so much work on ourselves, and so it just flowed, and we found this path together. And that's why, through all that journey, that's why I personally became so passionate about wanting to help other singles to find the right partner for them to share their life with, and without wasting time or loneliness or sadness.
Beautiful. Thank you. And something I heard in your share there, Brody, that I just kind of loved is that, well, I appreciated all of it, so I don't want to sound like I didn't know I did, but something that really struck me in it is this desire to find the formula, like trust and find the way to make this less painful and more efficient. and create a richness. And I know that's not the way that you said it. It was like the energy I felt behind it. And I love how you channeled that hurt and that loneliness and lack of trust into that. And I think that's a really profound transition as well. And that I am sure, I don't want to speak out of turn, but I'm sure that's a lot of the energy you're able to bring into too, that mind that wants to understand how and why, how can we make this more efficient and not have as much heartache, comes into a lot of the work that you both do. Is that a fair thought?
Yeah, definitely. That's what I wanted, is I really wanted to understand just what was going on under the surface of who I was, what men wanted, what women wanted, how to have a great relationship, communication skills, and opening up and becoming the right partner in order to find the right partner and someone that person is going to be attracted to. So I really wanted to find the underlying root of all of this and what makes people connect and find that right partner in their life. That was something I really wanted for myself.
Yeah. No, I love it. And the timing of when you both came together and how, I Absolutely love. And listeners, I hope you hear that energy behind both of them and the work that they do. So they have walked having and not having and know, and bring the wisdom they've learned in that to you. So really, really profound, really powerful. So thank you. So can I ask, what is the number one tip that you would give somebody today that is looking to be in the relationship they want to be in? That they're not, that they're looking, or they're just lost a relationship, or they're not in one. What's a number one tip you might share today?
So number one, I would say there's 2 points. It's like there's the boundaries and there's the vulnerability, right? So for me, it's all about like really being honest with yourself and trusting yourself, because most of the people come to us, they can't trust, right? Mm-hmm. And in order to trust, you have to be able to set boundaries, right? Mm-hmm. Like to set boundaries that you are congruent, right? That you like, not that you think you want to set the boundaries, right? But you're not setting the boundaries, so you're giving all your power away, because in that moment you're incongruent. So I would say to really be honest with yourself and speak your truth. So what you think, what you say, and what you do are in alignment, and get support and mentorship around that. Because of course that's like old stories. So for me it was dangerous to speak up, right? I was threatened. If I would speak up. So, and because so many of us, that's true. They're afraid that the person's going to go away and leave if they speak up, or something horrible is going to happen if they say no. And so really fall in love with no. That's what I would really say. Fall in love with no. Make no your new yes. Yes, your yes to yourself. Yes to yourself.
I love that, because saying no to other things or to others, or setting a boundary, is saying yes to yourself. That's profound. Thank you. Well, we are running to the end of our section here. The time goes so quickly. We still have a closing segment, so listeners, don't go away. But I wanted to give Antia, you an opportunity to share about your amazing free gift that you put together.
Yeah, so for all the women who are really struggling with setting the boundaries without feeling guilty, and just really, what's next? I mean, you heard those pieces, but like, you've been running on those wheels for a long time. So the mentorship is really needed, and support. And I'm offering you a 60-minute phone call with me, my Find the Right Man discovery session, where we go much deeper, look at what you honestly really want, what's holding you back, so we can really get you on track and get you the results that you really want, that you really desire.
Powerful. Thank you. Very generous. And Brody, have you also put together a free gift to support the men?
Yeah, for the men who are on the call, that's something similar I'd offer as well, because I do know that for me, the difference that really got me out of my depression was the support and the mentorship from somebody who had what I wanted. And that's the thing I realized, is it can't be somebody who's also single. They have to have the relationship you want as well. So I'm offering the one-on-one Find the Right Woman strategy session as well, where we get clear on what you're wanting, what are the real blocks that are stopping you from having what you want. I can give you some powerful strategies and resources to get you from where you are now to where you want to be as soon as possible. And that's my gift for the men who are looking to find that right woman for them to share their life with as well.
Perfect. Thank you. So listeners, I want to remind you again, it is not a solo journey, and that support along the way can be really critical. And I appreciate Brody and Antia both making themselves available to you personally to support you on your journey. So when we come back, I'll let you know how to access these powerful gifts, and then we will ask a couple more questions from our amazing experts. Looking forward to talking to you in just a moment.
Your favorite Voice America Talk Radio Network shows and hosts are in your car, outdoors, and wherever you need them to be. Listen anywhere. Get our mobile app for iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android at the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for people like you. With just one 7-minute audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities. This is a dynamic way to share your message, reach more people, and expand your impact. Apply now at yourpurposedrivenpractice.net www.voiceamerica.com/speaker-talent. Finalists get to audition live in front of community leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Don't wait. Find out more. Visit yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent.
Become our friend on Facebook. Post your thoughts about our shows and network on our timeline. Visit facebook.com/Voice America.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-613-1612. That's 1-866-613-1612. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone, for our exciting closing segment. And I wanted to deliver what I promised. I promised that I would share with you how to access these amazing gifts. And we like to house them all on one page so it's easy to find. And you can share the opportunity with those that you know that you feel would be supportive to them. So I really encourage you to write this down. It's Radio Gifts, that's plural.net. Radio Gifts, plural. So it's Radio Gifts, GIFTS.net. And you'll find all of the gifts that we've talked about today, and you'll also see some there from me as well, because I want to empower and support you on your journey as well. But I asked behind the scenes if our experts would be willing to share an additional tip or idea, because I believe it's so important to bring transformation into our lives. It's the things we're saying yes and no to. It's approaching our life in a practical and profound way. So we've talked about the profound and mindset and things to be aware of today as you're falling into balance. And then we've also talked about some practical steps that you can take. And so within that vein of thought, I asked our experts to share an additional tip, piece of wisdom, or insight with us today. So Mary, do you mind starting with your share?
Absolutely. Thank you, Rebecca. This is an invitation for you not to wait until you have a health crisis to take care of yourself. This is your wake-up call to take 5 minutes a day to figure out what nurtures you. Write it down, get it on paper, get it out of your body, see what's bugging you, and how you can transform your life.
Beautiful. I was telling her it's our wake-up call. So I love this, to reclaim your life 5 minutes a day. Really profound. Thank you, Mary. Appreciate that. And then it looks like, Antia, you had a share that you were going to give us, or a tip or a suggestion.
Yeah, so I was like, when it came to dating, I was Miss Impossible, right? Like I was single my entire life. I never had a long-term relationship. So with that, really, I just really want to say it's possible. If it was possible for me, like where everybody was like just kind of didn't even know what to say when I came back with Brody from the islands, right? Like it's possible for you. So it's really possible. Like keep believing. Keep believing.
Beautiful. I love that. Keep believing. We can lose trust in ourselves. We can lose faith. We can lose holding on to that vision we see, because we can get lonely sometimes or discouraged. So I think that's very, very timely that we keep believing. We keep moving forward. Beautiful. Thank you. And then Brody, did you also have a share, or do you guys feel complete?
Yeah.
I wanted to give you a chance, an opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah, the one share I think I would add is one thing that I found for me too is I remember a moment when I was in my car when I was at the depths of my depression, and I decided in that moment, I made the decision, either I'm going to end this, or fortunately what I decided was I'm going to do whatever it takes to make this happen for myself. And so I feel like also a great takeaway is with finding love is to really be committed and have that commitment within that you're going to do whatever, you're willing to do whatever it takes to get the support, to get the mentorship, to get new strategies, to change, to find that partner and be the person that partner would want to be with as well. So I think that's the other thing I'd add on to possibility is a strong level of commitment to really have it in your life and experience that kind of love and support.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. I love that commitment to do and be what you need to be to no matter what, I'm going to have that love in my life. I'm going to bring that into my life. I love that. I agree. I think it does take that commitment and onto that belief. Really beautiful, combining those together. And listeners, if we can dial this up even more, as I'm thinking about all of the wisdom and heart that was shared on the show today, what's really striking a chord with me is a commitment to yourself. Be willing to be fully who you are. Be willing to discover your balance. I like how Mary's breaking it down 5 minutes at a time. Really discover fully who you are. Claim your life. Be willing to step into it. Claim the relationship that you want in your life. Build that trust within yourself and others. Know where you start and stop. I like this saying no more frequently than we do. So you can say yes to you, because there's not another one of you out there. You are a gift to this world. And if you shrink back from claiming yourself fully, from claiming and bringing yourself fully, there can be someone out there waiting for you in a relationship potential way that connection isn't happening because you're holding yourself back. Or it could be someone out there is crying and praying for having a message that you have or a way of living that only you can live and they can see and be touched by. We are not isolated individuals. We are all connected. It is not a solo journey. And how we decide these things on a practical and a profound level, and the action and energy we put behind them, makes a profound difference, not just for you, but for all of those around you. It creates a ripple effect. And I want to make sure that you are pausing once in a while. That's why we do it on this show. Really pause and listen, and being deliberate on what you're choosing to bring forward, because every decision that you make around that matters. Moment by moment, life by life, heartbeat by heartbeat, it makes a profound difference. And the world desperately needs you, or you wouldn't have been given as a gift to all of us. So I just want to remind you of that and encourage you to find your equilibrium, your balance, claim your life, and be willing to bring the amazing person that you are forward. And perhaps that takes a commitment to make some shifts and changes within ourselves. Maybe it's a willingness to share on a higher level with others some of our tenderness and a vulnerability. I don't know what has been laid upon your heart as we've had our time together today, but I encourage you, with whatever it is, whatever that piece of wisdom is, to bring it forward. Let it gain traction in your life. Let it get some roots and grow, because every moment that you let yourself sink into who you are more fully and who you want to be, that's a moment of transformation that you're bringing to the world. And it profoundly matters. And what I want to remind you of today, in case you haven't heard it, is that you are beautifully and wonderfully made on purpose and for a purpose. There is no one else just like you. And we are profoundly grateful to have you in our community and in our life. And we want to encourage you on your journey. So whatever has been laid upon your heart today matters. And we celebrate that you've taken a moment to say yes to you today, to pause in this richness with us together. And I want to empower and equip you, step back out into the world, that wherever you go, whatever you do, may you always, always bloom where you're planted and shine. I look forward to talking to you next week.
Thank you for joining us this week for Empowering Women, Transforming Lives. Please tune in again for another edition with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter, next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific on the Voice America Women's Channel. And join us for a replay of the show every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Pacific on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Have a beautiful week, and may you always bloom where you're planted and shine.
Thanks again for listening to the preceding program, brought to you on the Voice America Women's Channel. For more information about our network and to check out additional show hosts and topics of interest, please visit voiceamericawomen.com. The Voice America Talk Radio Network is the worldwide leader in live Internet talk radio. Visit voiceamerica.com. The views and ideas expressed on the preceding program are strictly those of the host or guests and do not necessarily reflect the views and ideas held by the Voice America Talk Radio Network, its staff, and management.